Alex Hansery here, November 29th, 2016, and I'm going to go ahead and say hello to all 20 thumbs down on this video. I also want to say hello to those that are thumbing up and supporting what I'm trying to accomplish. But I have had a number of people tell me in the last few weeks, thank you, Alex, for staying true to your roots, if you will, maintaining your independence, where so many people in the alternative media are co-opted. And the reality is that the global world economy has not, I repeat, has not crashed yet. And there still is money in this world. And I don't believe that everyone who is a millionaire, multimillionaire, or billionaire is inherently evil. Although there could be some arguments made that to even become a billionaire, you have to involve yourself with some level of corruption. Well, let's just say that that's not the case. And let's just say that there are some billionaires with a heart, with consciousness, that are not a part of the New World Order. First of all, I want to appreciate everybody that's contributed to my work, whether it be $1.11. There's a few people that chip in just $1, or those that chip in $5. I also want to make an effort to reach that one billionaire who may become a subscriber, either in the present or the future. That we need you. You know, the reality is, and the view is, to speak to that billionaire now, that if someone has money, that they're evil, and that most of the people that are listening to my channel, for example, are one check away from being homeless. And thus there's very, very little support for what I do from my own audience, especially since I went off grid. And I don't know whether it's the fact that I'm not for Donald Trump. If you support what I'm doing and you are in a good situation financially and you don't like Donald Trump, why are you not supporting what it is that I do? Is it because you think I just don't need the help anymore? Did you miss the memo that I at least have 10 grand to pay off on the land? And I really would appreciate some help from the listeners in a better financial position. You know, I want to thank that brother in the UK as well as the other in Norway. And I have created a goal for myself to pay off the land, that 10 grand, 12 grand, whatever it is, over the course of the next calendar year. And you, the audience, can help me with that. But you're not helping me alone. You're helping me move to the next step so I can improve the content and quality and help others. It's not about me. I'm a conduit for something else greater than myself. So by helping me, you're helping the spirit of truth. And I'm asking some of you to step up to the plate, but most of all, and I am going to apply the power of intent. And I invite the audience to apply their power of intent towards this as well. I think it's time that a billionaire find Alex Hansery. Several millionaires already have. I repeat, several millionaires already have. And both of those individuals that I have already come in contact with that I would consider to be millionaires have or had their own agenda. And their agenda was not or is not aligned with the ultimate truth. And warning the world, for example, of some of the things that may be destined for the United States, and having kind of a larger conspiracy understanding than it just being about Obama or Clinton, but actually looking at all of them. And there's danger involved in this. And so why did I go off grid? Why do I live off a few hundred a month? Well, a little bit more than that, because I'm making land payments. And my goal is, in case you didn't know, I've moved my goal to $1,000 a month. I want to make $1,000 a month payments. I want to make payments of $1,000 a month to the title company. That's my goal. Not $250 payments, which they demand at minimum. I want to make $1,000 payments, and I want to free myself of all debt to this land, because there is only so much time in the next 3 to 4 years, and I see us at a world war scenario by the 2020s. A billionaire or a millionaire, a multimillionaire, but we're going to go for billionaire, to where if they invest a few million on property, on staff, on equipment. We can have the only independent TV network on the earth. There is no independent global TV network that can afford to go on Dish and can afford to reach the world. We've seen people come like David Icke, and they, because of their large voice, they were able to raise millions of dollars that went to people within David Icke's camp that, according to David Icke, took from him or stole from him and left him holding the bag. And we're going to go ahead and give David Icke the benefit of the doubt. We also see how David Icke, with the people's voice, did not include people that wanted to be included because he didn't trust them, but he ended up trusting the people that ended up supposedly backstabbing him. Poor use of judgment from the not necessarily all-knowing Icke. And then we see the path of Alex Jones. And then we see the path of others. And we see that most of the people who are supporting sociopaths, whether that be in their human nature, or whether that be something else, or con men, or snake oil salesmen, we see that most of the world's population supports people that explain things to them the way they want things explained to them. So sometimes getting organic support from the people comes with the price of being something that you're not. What I don't think is that we'll be able to change the whole world through one network. What I do believe is that we can help souls across the planet with a multicultural, multiracial, multi-language, independent free media that covers spiritual information, that covers political information, that covers off-the-grid knowledge and information, that also is connected with, lobbyists isn't the word, but people that are the thinker types, the people that write grants, the people that write things. I'm a speaker. I'm speaking. I speak. I talk. Writers, that is another arena. There should be people writing on behalf of freedom today in America, and there aren't enough. In fact, the people that are complaining about some people's rights being taken away want to now shut down websites that they call Russian propaganda. That's not freedom. That's fascism. And it's going on now in America on the left and the right. And we need help. We need help. I'm telling you, and I'm telling you now. It is hard for me to be in a finite state of consciousness to where I'm waiting every month for that small check on the first from my employer, or that little bit of Google AdSense that comes every month on the 24th or 22nd, and then to put that towards my bills and my land payment, and then I just do it so I can stay alive and keep going. And so I'm having a very spiritual experience to where I'm not really gaining anything material from this. I'm simply surviving off grid. One of the, if not the only, let me know down in the comment section if I'm the only one. I'm not talking about YouTube channels where we talk about their RVs and today we're going to take a look at the batteries. But someone talking about current events, geopolitics, world war, things of that nature, the real alternative media, while being off grid. Show me, because I definitely am always looking for new content. But I'm telling you guys right now, it's hard. And something is compelling me now at 6 o'clock in the morning to tell you I don't want to just wait and wait and wait for years and years and years to get to a point to where I can afford to do some of the stuff on myself, to where I can afford to hire a video editor, to where I can just create content and just interview people. And Alex can keep going, keep fucking hitting, keep moving forward. Not stop and edit for 5 hours, not stop and work on someone else's website that's being labeled Russian propaganda for another 3 hours just so I can friggin' eat. There's risk that's coming with some of this desperation I am involved in just so I can eat and pay my bills. Folks, it's time for you to start supporting what it is that I do, if you support what I do. Okay? I don't care if this has 35 thumbs down. Go ahead and create 10 accounts and thumb it down. Fuck you. To the rest of you, this has been really just a heartfelt expression to you that I'm just feeling the energy. I'm feeling this subtle encouragement to move forward with everything that I can do in the physical reality. And if I literally am not going to live in scarce resource consciousness, then I'm not going to wait till next month. I'm not going to wait till the month after that when the sunshine is out and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm feeling inspired by the solar flares and the rays from the sun. Instead, I'm going to be here in the dead of winter with it 10 degrees outside, huddling around a Mr. Buddy heater, being one of the only members of the independent media living off the grid, pleading with that one billionaire or multimillionaire that finds this broadcast. We need you. There is no support. No, what if that money, if you know that some of that money isn't going to be usable for anything in your heart in 10 years, if you also feel the urgency as I do, money is energy. It's just energy. And I tell myself that when I pay a land payment, and I'm like, oh, I could really spend that on money that can get me another car. No, I'm not buying myself any luxuries. And I don't remember the last time I've really, had luxuries or went on a vacation or just gambled and did something stupid with money or just partied. It's like it's not in my DNA. This is not my first ride. As far as I'm concerned on this planet, I've lived with less for a long time, and I'm really good at living with less. As a result of being really talented at living with less, other aspects of my life may suffer. It's one thing to be really good at living with less. It's another to be really good at living with less, but also want to reach the world and to have the confidence to speak to the world. And I'm sorry if I cough. There are some people that are very critical of the coughs they hear on me. Too bad. Find another channel. I can't help it. I am who I am. I am me. I am free. And I'm good enough as I am. I am good enough as I am. And I do not surround myself with anybody that thinks that I need to be improved or corrected. I'm good enough as I am, and the message and my warnings need to be heard by millions of people in multiple languages. For that kind of juice, for that kind of help, for that kind of reach, we need to see some real energy and some real cash. Other people have had a leg up in this world. Alex Jones had a leg up in this world. Other people with family members and fathers and mothers and others have had a leg up in this world to help reach other people. And it seems that I've been on my own for a long friggin' time in this. And again, I want to thank those of you that have actually donated and contributed. Even if it's just a few dollars, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're not in a state of consciousness that I'm some bastard for being on YouTube, that you see the power in just $1 or $5. All 3 to 4 of you, about 4 of you to 5 of you out of hundreds have thought that I'm worth it and worth a few cups of coffee. Meanwhile, hundreds of you listen to these podcasts and you don't even think I'm worth a cup of coffee. And yet you wonder what my issue is, but yet you keep listening. And the question is, why do you keep listening? What is it that you're getting from these broadcasts? One of you has connections with real money, or knows someone, or is in a family of wealth, or is in royalty. And I'm asking to you, I'm speaking to your soul right now today. I'm hoping to see an email in my inbox. I don't care what family you're from. I don't care if you're in the Gillette family. Okay, I don't care what family you're in. If you are in one of those families, Alex Ansary is calling you now. Message in a bottle to a billionaire that wants to help the free media. This is part 2, and this is going to be more of a focus. This will be an actual explanation to that multi-millionaire or billionaire what it is that I'm seeing. What it is that I'm seeing is something that other people have had the opportunity to do for years, and that is show the world that people can work together in a multimedia sense and operate outside the mainstream media. Russia today has filled that void for a lot of people that have jumped ship from the mainstream media. They've in fact failed to see the mainstream media in Russia today. They've failed to see the national interests in Russia today. We've seen others in the quote-unquote alternative media find themselves targets because they turned to RT because they had no one else in the States to turn to. because there is no independent network in the States. And so the American wealthy have failed the American people. There should be options outside of Alex Jones. Call me crazy. Shoot me if you have to. There should be actual independent grassroots content outside of free speech TV and things that are mainstream left. See, people that are on the mainstream left will never see themselves as what they really are. In some cases, gatekeepers. Oh no, that's a conspiracy theory. But at the same time, do I see some benefit to another cookie cutter anti-New World Order conspiracy theory TV network? No. I think big. And I think of a network that actually encompasses multiple aspects of entertainment, news, culture, song, dance, food, spirit. Something that in a way has a little bit of me in it, but really has much of humanity in it. And it's not just there to be a Coca-Cola commercial. You know, as we show the beauty of the third world, you know, and we play the song, I'd like to buy the world a Coke and furnish it with love. No, this isn't going to be the Oprah Network. This is going to be real. Met someone recently. She talked about how she felt that some of her ideas were ripped off by another network. Parts of her ideas, not all of them. She said she sat down with a member of some company, and there were some ideas expressed, and the idea was taken from her. You know, ideas are ideas, though. We don't really have copyright over ideas. It's a matter of what we do with those ideas, and if our intentions are good. And a lot of the intentions of the big corporations that are putting out media do not have good intentions towards their audiences. They may use a little song, dance, wine, and entertainment to bring people in, but in the end, they leave people out to dry. What I am advocating is creating the very first independent news network that is obviously privately financed by hopefully what will be a very good soul that will not hijack the network once it's built and then turn it into a propaganda network. Oh, wouldn't that be a nightmare? To help a billionaire create a network and see it turned into Fox News 2.0 or the fake Islamic invasion news network starring Paul Joseph Watson and Henry from Red Eyes Creations. So I feel this calling. I feel this calling, and it is burning inside me, and it is more real than any supposed physical fire of the real world. Somebody also said to me, you know, I'm really not being in touch enough with my ancestors by not having a fire. This person does not know me or my work enough to even make such a statement. And how unfortunate that is. How unfortunate that is to not be known as the person that I actually am. Because I feel a very strong connection to not only my ancestors, but future generations and the world. That's why I do what I do. That's why I'm one of the few on the planet that speaks of such issues. Is it any wonder I live alone off the grid? Well, I'll tell you what, it was a miracle, and it was an act of God for that to happen. I now ask God, I now ask some of you, I now ask that billionaire with the good spirit to assist me in reaching the world. I want to work with other people. We want to talk about now what we would do with such a network. So we talk about funding. We talk about money. We talk about reality. We don't just live in la la land. The reality is, people on the ground very rarely support content like this because they don't believe it's worth it. And they believe wholeheartedly if you're outside the mainstream media and you're not an Alex Jones who's big enough at that level that you don't deserve to be independently financed and supported by your own audience. And so that is the thinking with a lot of people right now, with the exception of just a few of you, maybe 5 to 6, that have seen my work as worthy of contributing to in the last month. You definitely are 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000. And so the reality is to actually pay people a living wage, to put a roof over people's head, if you will, to pay for the server space, to pay for the satellite link up, and not just lie to the audience and say we're going to go satellite and go worldwide and not go worldwide. No, I'm talking about actually doing it. I'm talking Dish, I'm talking other networks, I'm talking a global reach, not just the internet. Powered by the juice of one billionaire who sees what I see. I'm asking the creator of the cosmos to connect me with one of the many billionaires that's alive on the planet today, that is very much understanding what it is that I'm saying. And they can go to my YouTube channel and please check out who I was 5 years ago and 6 and 7 and see how consistent I have been. See how consistent I have been with my warnings, the stage managed World War III. Notice how I have my haters. Notice how it seems like I have a lot of these forces working against me. But where are the forces of good working with me? You know, it is because of that brother in the UK who donated what he donated that helped me take care of a land payment or two recently that I really needed to do. That I am going to think outside the box because I know that I have interacted with millionaires before that had their own interests at heart, that could have done a lot more and can do something to reach the world. But for some reason, they don't at all have the desire to do that. And I'm not going to blame the fact that they are men of wealth for that, because I believe that there's a man of wealth out there that's going to hear this. There's a woman of wealth out there that's going to hear this, that's going to see the necessity for the planet's first global news network that's not just going to feature me, but could feature dozens of other people, and not just be something that's promised, you know, and funded on the backs of the listeners, only to see that money go into a black hole and go nowhere, and for them to be no network. And that's what we saw with the People's Voice. We need a large-scale physical facility. Let's talk about money. We need to syndicate. Let's say we're going to invest $500 million. We're going to have physical studio chapters in several American cities. We're going to do what RT has not. Okay, if we're going to donate or put down and apply 500 million to a billion. Now, we can, of course, just start with 500,000 and to start with the physical place, one studio, a crew of 10. At least a dozen. We're talking about secretaries. We're talking about cameramen. Okay. We are talking about people to run the teleprompters. We are talking about people writing original content, not just syndicating news from other places, but writing original content right there in the studio. And of course, paying writers, maybe even paying some of you to literally go out, get a story, cover it, and pay that content creator a living wage or a flat rate for their video, their audio, or their written contributions. So we pay for the first time. I mean, there's a lot. I really want to sit down and talk with you privately about this. Please call me. Please email me. But I mean, literally, we can literally corner the market in a positive way. Fuck Google AdSense. Look at how many people are literally eating out of their hands, and they want to create this fear like, oh, maybe we're going to start cracking down on fake news. You know, all this is really political. Well, why are so many people turning towards fake news and clickbait? It's because they're desperate economically. Instead, let's help some of these people that have been manipulated by Google AdSense and the clickbait reality that Google helped create, that YouTube promotes. Pour myself some hot water on some coffee here, rolling the morning at 6 o'clock. Okay, let's pay them a living wage. Let's truly compete with the mainstream media and pay people a living wage. Pay people for their content and have contributing reporters all over the world that rather go with us first instead of turning it into some clickbait thing on YouTube or Google. Let's operate outside of that. Let's have our own advertising. You know, so when we talk about commerce, the world is based on commerce. I don't really get up here and do these pro-capitalist speeches, but there's a more mindful way to run a media business. There are more ethical ways to run a media business. I'll try to steer away from media empire. But we are in this physical world of media competition and other forms of competition on a level. And so I am not advocating doing a lot of wild fringe things that have not been done before. The only thing I'm really recommending is that someone of wealth who has a good heart, who is not corrupted, will help facilitate such a network. Of course, we have to guard against that network being built up and then used for other purposes. And so I am starting to talk about this on a more regular basis and put out my intentions for that man or woman of wealth, whether she is or is not in a royal family, but someone that is not like what is going on here and wants to find someone that has a real soul, if you will. Take a major role in driving this forward, and I am that man. I am your number one guy. I am that guy. There is no other. There are others, like Kyle Reardon and others, that I will recruit to write for the network. There are certain websites that I think have put out good work over the years in the alternative media. We may bring them into this, but very few of those currently active in the alternative media are going to be involved with what we're doing. And that is because of their actions and because of their silence on the issues that matter. So, I want this opportunity. I want this opportunity before my life is over. I don't care if you want to set it up in Vegas. I don't care if you want to set it up in Los Angeles. If you have the money and you're in New York, maybe you're a billionaire in Portland, Oregon. Okay, I come back from Portland for that. I'm not someone that spends my life chasing material things because I don't see any purpose in the materialism of it. However, to use energy, to use wealth, to reach many souls on the planet, to help them evolve beyond this matrix, because that's what this is really about as I close. It is about saving souls. I'm not a religious person, but I feel like I'm on a mission to help people evolve beyond this animalism, this fight or flight, this problem reaction solution, this co-opted alternative media, before the worst possibilities take place. Because any billionaire out there, you cannot take your wealth to heaven. And that quote from the Bible is very real about the camel and the needle and all that stuff. But, I truly feel this with all my heart, that we can help make the world a better place if what dollars are left before the dollar is worthless, that energy is used for good, and that good comes back to us. That's why I'm not afraid of being murdered. That's the only reason I'm not fanatical. It's because I'm doing good work, and there's good that comes to people that donate. That's why some people donate, even as little as $1 or $5, because they know that they're blessed back in return. I know that's why some people do it, and I don't think that's being done out of selfishness. They truly want to assist what I'm doing. And that's why $1 means something. $1.11. $1.19. This is the kind of stuff that's coming in. $4.99. Every now and then, of course, boom, several hundred to 1,000 from an anonymous person randomly. Not on a regular basis, but enough to show me what I'm capable of raising. So I'm gonna go for the gold, literally. We're looking for a billionaire to help us buy a plot of land and or buildings in major American cities that will be converted to television studios. We'll have our own writers. We'll have our own radio station. We'll have our own TV station. Each station will have a staff of over a dozen. They will each have a news director. There will be some sort of organization to maintain a sense of independence. We are humans. We are not perfect. We will have to use put our minds together and look at the entire history of human corruption and co-option, and establish with the board of directors, if you will, a structure in place to prevent the network from being co-opted from anyone or any of its hosts or any of its members. At the same time, it's going to be independently run, and it's not going to be controlled by the government or any socialist or communist leaning groups. We're going to have to find ways of working with each other without reverting to such co-opted systems. And I'm going to conclude here, in the process of not only having one of the first in human history digital, global, satellite, independent news networks, we're also going to be one of the few examples showing people working together. We may even have some situations where we have the left and the right and the center in a crossfire debate, having a mindful conversation instead of some argument that's basically scripted and staged for ratings, but a mindful conversation about the solutions and about what's possible. Again, we cannot take the wealth that we accumulate, including our bodies, into the afterlife, whatever your perceptions are on the afterlife. And I don't see money as all evil and all billionaires as evil. Some of them were born into situations to receive great wealth, and part of you receiving great wealth was to see what you would do with it while you were in the body. So I call out now to that person of wealth. Alex Ansary is calling you. Alex Ansary is reaching out to you. Alex Ansary is looking to hear from you. And let's do what was never done in the history of human digital entertainment and news reporting history, in order to, for lack of a better word, save ourselves and help as many others as possible.